another look at the love languages and go a little deeper into the connection that they have with the Bible. So, with Total Balance, our foundation is the Bible. The entire program is based on the Bible. And what's so cool is that the love languages are also based on the Bible. So I want to read with you from 1 Corinthians 13. The first, in Deuteronomy 6, the Lord says, love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul. And then Jesus goes a step further in Matthew 22, verses 37 to 39, where he says, love the Lord your God with every passion of your heart, with all the energy of your being, and with every thought that's within you. This is the great and supreme commandment. And the second is like it in importance. You must love your friend in the same way that you love yourself. Now, it's important to realize here that you're not keeping the commandment if you love others more than yourself. And how often are we inclined to love others more than ourselves? But you love others as you love yourselves. And then the question then is, if you're loving the other person at the expense of yourself, whether you really love that person, if you're really loving that person at that moment, or whether you're mainly trying to please the other person to get something, get validation, get affirmation, get approval, are you actually loving the other person out of fear or an unmet need or to get something done or, whatever? Loving others as yourself means that you also love yourself. And that means there is also time and space for you. Now let's take this a step further and look at 1 Corinthians chapter 13. And I'm reading from the Passion Translation. It says, if I were to speak with eloquence in earth's many languages and in the heavenly tongues of angels, and yet I didn't express myself with love, my words would be reduced to the hollow sound of nothing more than a clanging cymbal. And if I were to have the gift of prophecy with a profound understanding of God's secrets, and if I possessed unending spiritual knowledge, and if I had the greatest gift of faith that could move mountains, but have never learned to love, that I'm nothing. And if I were to be so generous as to give away everything I own to feed the poor, and to offer my body to be burned as a martyr without the pure motive of love, I would gain nothing of value. Love is large and incredibly patient. Love is gentle. It's consistently kind to all. It refuses to be jealous when blessing comes to someone else. Love doesn't brag about your own achievements nor inflate its own importance. Love does not traffic in shame and disrespect, nor selfishly seek its own honor. Love is not easily irritated or quick to take offense. Love joyfully celebrates honesty and finds no delight in what's wrong. Love is a safe place of shelter, for it never stops believing the best for others. Love never takes failure as defeat, for it never, ever gives up. Love never stops loving. It extends beyond the gift of prophecy, which eventually fades away. It's more enduring than tongues, which will one day fall silent. Love remains long after words of knowledge are forgotten. Our present knowledge and our prophecies are partial, but when love's perfection arrives, the partial will fade away. When I was a child, I spoke about childish matters, for I saw things like a child and I reasoned like a child. But the day's going to come when I mature and I set aside my childish ways. For now we see just a faint reflection of riddles and mysteries as though reflected in a mirror. But one day we will see face to face. My understanding is incomplete now, but one day I will understand everything, just as everything about me has already been fully understood. Until then, there are three things that remain: faith, hope, and love, and yet love surpasses them all. So, above else, let love be the beautiful prize for which you run. Now, this is so clear, and so beautiful, and so, all encompassing that if we just focused on this one chapter, we could work on our entire lives without exhausting all the teaching and all the instruction in just this chapter. Now, I'd like to share a story of two sisters with you who, they both come in your coaching practice. And one says, my mother, she loved me so much. And the other one says, well, I doubt if she really ever loved me. She did a lot with us, but she never actually said that. So you have two sisters, same mother, yet they both have a completely different experience. And now that you know a little bit more about those love languages, about the different love languages, you might be able to understand how this is possible. It happens more often than you might think. One sister has a different love language than the other sister. One sister's love language is being together, and their mother spent tons of time with them, took them both for walks every day, had great conversations with them, just really had a nice time together with them. And this daughter had the love language of quality time, being together, felt incredibly loved and felt just seen. My mother really loves me, she thinks. The other daughter had the love language of words of affirmation. And she says, yeah, she might have loved me, but I kind of doubt it. She never said it. We did a lot of things together, but she didn't say she loved me. So she doubts because those words of affirmation mean to her, I love you. You did well. And that's what gives her the feeling of really being truly loved. And that was what was missing. So, how's that possible? Well, you see, the mother's love language was also quality time as well, just like that first daughter. And if you have a certain love language, then loving for you means speaking that language, that love language. If quality time is this mother's love language, then she thinks, well, when I'm with someone, I'm with my girls, I'm with my daughters, and can really have that quality time with them, I feel loved and I am just showing them how much I love them. And I love my daughters. I want to make them feel loved too. So I'm doing all kinds of things with them, tons of quality time with them. And what she didn't know is that there's not just one language. This mother didn't know that there were 5 languages. She automatically spoke the love language that she herself has because in her experience, that's love. And she loves both of her daughters by spending quality time with them. The second daughter needed those words of affirmation. So she had a really hard time receiving the love that was being spoken. This daughter can then ask her mom, say, I've discovered this, that my love language is actually words of affirmation. Would you tell me how much you love me? Would you tell me what you love about me? And if this mother is also healthy mentally, emotionally, then she can frequently just do that. And that can help so much. But it's also possible, that parents are still stuck in their old pain from their past and are therefore unable to speak certain love languages properly. If the daughter now discovers these words of affirmation, the mother can then make tons of progress in speaking to her daughter's language, making sure that still her daughter feels loved, feels seen. For yourself, for people around you, you can ask. When you discover what your love language is, it is so important that you also learn to share that with other people, with others around you. Explain the concept if they don't know, so that they can understand how to most easily show love and receive it. In a marriage or a parent-child relationship, this can play out in such a similar way. For example, your love language is serving. Then you show love by doing things for your spouse, for your children. You automatically serve. and for your partner, for your children, you're so busy cleaning the house, making beds, making sandwiches, loading the dishwasher, vacuuming. You make sure that everyone has something to drink, all their clothes are cleaned and ironed, you take care of it all, you're always serving. That's how you love people. And that's amazing. So you're busy serving, but the problem comes in when your partner has a different love language and you don't know that. He doesn't know yours. He actually wants physical contact. He wants to hold hands or have a back rub or wants to be intimate. And just like with those two daughters, if you don't learn to speak his language so that you can not just show your love for him, but that you can also see and understand and consciously receive the love that he's showing in that physical contact, or with your children. If you don't realize that your children all have different love languages, you will most likely need to learn to speak other love languages so that the people around you feel loved. I have 5 children and my husband's, and all their first love languages are all different than mine. And this was tough because I felt at times like, they don't see me, they don't care. And, likewise, they felt at times the same way. At some point, we had an evening and we all took the tests, and then we tried guessing what the other's love language was. And it was fun. We had such a great time. But everybody thought that my first or second love language was serving. It's not, it's words. And that's not first or second for my husband either, or my children. Each of my children have quality time as their first or second language. And that's not my first or second language either, or my husband's. We're both entrepreneurs. We both work hard. So you can imagine there was sometimes some significant miscommunication before we discovered this. And now it is just so much easier to show each child that they're loved in a way that where they actually hear it and they actually receive it. Now, another concept that I want to explain is about a love tank. We talked in a few videos ago about the energy bucket, but now I want to talk about a love tank. So first and foremost, the Lord has got to be the one that is filling your love tank. He fills it up. He can patch up any cracks, consistently spending time with him in his word, in prayer, in worship. That is going to fill your love tank. You can also fill it yourself by showing yourself the love that you need, asking yourself, okay, what do I need here? And then giving that to yourself. If it's encouragement or taking a bit of time and just resting, or it may sound silly, but if physical touch is your language, rubbing your own hands or rubbing your own arms, that can just help a lot. And you can also receive loves from others when they speak your love language. But I've also discovered in my life that I can actually keep my love tank filled by consciously realizing that people around me are showing me love in their love language. That has helped me so much. So make sure that love tanks are filled, your own, but the love tanks of your spouse, your children. In children, you can see so clearly when their love tank is empty. They start whining or complaining or exhibiting some type of difficult behavior, and they're screaming, love me, fill my love tank, fill my love tank. And we can have cracks due to past experiences and past pain that hasn't been healed yet. We don't want that for our children. We don't want those cracks to even start. About around the age of 4, 5, 6 years old, you start to see which love language your child predominantly has. Up until then, your child just needs all of them. Even after that, they need all of them. But then there's going to be one that is just specific. So you've got to give them those positive words, the time together, serve them, giving them thoughtful presence, having that physical contact. Help your child feel and receive that love in all those areas. And that is going to help them learn to receive God's love as well. So make sure their tank is filled and give them the example of making sure yours stays filled as well, so that you can love from that overflow and not from the little bit that you have left in your bucket and you have left in your tank. So love from that overflow. Learn to speak all the love languages, especially those of your spouse, especially those of your children. Put time and effort into it, even if it's hard to do, even if you don't feel like you're getting much back. When you look at applying this in your coaching, the first step is always living as an example. Practice what you preach. And the next is bringing awareness to your client. And it can be such a life-changing, perspective-changing blessing when you share this with your clients to help, to guide, to support them in giving love, in receiving love effectively, so that they can also love out of that overflow, out of 1 Corinthians 13, giving love, learning how to receive it.